What's up, guys? So for this video tonight, we're going to talk about how to treat ick. We had a unique situation on the weekend of Labor Day this year rather, where we went. My son, his birthday's September 1st. So what we did is I put together a tank for him. We put some really cool Lego decorations in there, and we'll have some videos about that tank here to come. But my mother gave him a gift card to our local, not local pet store, it's a chain store, I don't want to mention their name, but we went to the store. Fortunately, it's right down the road. We can walk there from here. We walked down to the store. He picked out 5 fish that he wanted for his 10-gallon tank. It was 3 Dalmatian mollies, red wagtail platy, and a neon blue platy. And beautiful fish. One of the things that unfortunately was a learning experience for us is 4 of their racking systems were basically out of order. As you know, at a fish store, out of order means these fish are sick. Most likely they have ick. And that's what we ended up unfortunately coming home with. But the way it went into everything and the way this all played out is something that was kind of unique and an interesting story, and so I'm going to share this with you guys. I'm going to kind of walk you through it. This tank was once much more populated than it is right now. We lost quite a few of our fish, total of 5 neon tetras, 1 zebra danio, both of the platies, and 1 of the mollies. So 8 fish in total fell victim to this. Fortunately, our African dwarf frogs down here, those guys are indestructible. They're bulletproof. Nothing phases them. There are so many times those guys should have been gone, shouldn't have made it, but yet here they are, bulletproof. So anyway, we bring home these mollies. First we bring home by accident 2 females. No. 2 males, 1 female. Oh man, forget that. That ain't working. So we went back to the store, and after learning, because he picked these out. There's another thing that I learned. If you're going to get your kids some fish, do the picking out of the type of fish at home first. Okay? Don't wait till you get to the fish store and let them fall in love with something there. Turn on YouTube videos, go to Wikipedia, figure out what they want before you go to the fish store, okay? Because that way, there's just too much for you to learn about a specific species if you don't have any experience with them, all right? So the mollies were our problem. So the day we were there at the store, we had 2 males and a female, brought them home. Oh man, those males were just, if you know anything about mollies, and so that female would not have made it. We learned that very quickly. So what we did is we went in, we asked very nicely, hey, can we just exchange this male for a female, and then we'll add another female. So now we've basically flipped the ratio plus added 1. So we had 3 females and 1 male at that point. Plus, I guess all said, we lost 2 mollies out of this. One of them didn't actually pass. I'll get to that in a minute. So the 3 days after we got him home, so his birthday was the 1st, Labor Day was Monday, Tuesday we get up, they're getting ready to head out for school, and guess what? Bunch of babies swimming around the tank. How exciting, right? Well, if you know anything about mollies, platies, and a 10-gallon tank, and not having a lot of plants in there, those babies, the odds were stacked against them. So we had no choice but to either get the mama out of there, all the bigger fish out of there, or get the fry out of there. Getting the fry out of there would have been an exercise in futility because they're just so small at that point. I mean, they would have been, it would have been impossible to get them all out. So instead we decided we were going to take from the 10-gallon, move the mollies over here, and move the platies over here too. So all that was left in the 10-gallon tank in his room is the fry. Well, that seemed like a good idea. The problem was I also had taken seeded media from this tank. And if you don't know what I mean when I say seeded media, basically it's media that you kind of stick in the side in the tank to move to another tank in order to make it cycle quickly. Okay, I mean literally you can cycle a tank overnight if you have some, the right media, because it's already got the beneficial bacteria. You can literally cycle a tank immediately when you take some of the media from that tank and move it to another one, which is what we did. Well, in doing so, I had decreased the beneficial bacteria in here that had colonized, and it had not had a chance to replenish because this was just a span of a few days. So it really wasn't a problem for the bioload that we had in here at the time, but it was definitely a problem once you throw in 5 new fish. So now we had an ammonia spike. This was like there was this cascade of horrible events at that time. So we had an ammonia spike. I went and got some product that took care of the ammonia spike, but at the same time we realized, and you look, going back to in the story where when I was at the store, 4 of their 5 racking systems had 6 signs on the glass. Well, ick began to spread through our tank. And up until that time, we had had some of the healthiest neon tetras you've ever seen in your life. We lost all 5 of them. We lost the Dalmatian mollies. The sure sign that they're not doing well is that they shimmy. And what that means is they kind of wave back and forth like this nonstop. And they look like they look like they're shaking their head no at you if you watch them. But, and you can see, I mean, when you look at these guys here now, I mean, they're swimming fluidly, calmly. They're, there's a whole different demeanor when a fish is healthy. And so, I went to the store and I looked and I started, I have a lot of friends in the hobby that are they're very natural hobbyists. They don't want to keep adding chemicals and things like that. And my belief is, if it comes to it and I have no choice but to use chemicals, if I feel like nothing else works, then I'll do a chemical. But if it's something that is that has a proven track record of natural remedies, then I'll go after the natural remedy, because why not let God handle it, right? So, so after a lot of homework, I figured our best course of action was to add a teaspoon of salt for every gallon in the tank. Okay, so I ended up adding 26 teaspoons of salt to this 26-gallon tank. What that does actually doesn't do anything to the ick, as far as I know. Okay, there's kind of controversy about this, but what I was able to observe is that very quickly the fish's stress levels went down because of the salt in the water. There's something about that salt going in the water that just gave those fish de-stress, okay? And I'm sure some of you are going to hit me up in the comments and tell me exactly what it is, or that it's because they were immediately feeling relief from the ick or whatever. That's fine. I mean, we can argue all day. All I know is that it calmed them down. But the biggest thing is this. I learned that ick cannot survive in water that's above 85 degrees. So you get to 86, ick cannot survive. And the stages that it goes through is, it's a little seed on the side, like a little pod on the side of your fish. And then that pod falls to the ground, explodes, and then a bunch of new pods come up, and they attach to the fish and grow and explode. And it's just this cycle. It goes over and over and over again. So after losing all those fish, there was one more fish, and we had raised the temperature. Everybody else was doing well. There was one fish that just, for some reason, she would not seem to, she wasn't recovering from the ick. So what we did is we took her back to the store we bought her. This all happened within the span of 2 weeks. We went from a huge stock tank here, and obviously I see my part of it. The part where, you know, I allowed that ammonia spike to happen was probably a big contributing factor into why the fish couldn't survive the ick. Well, I mean, you combine the two things. You got ammonia poisoning, for lack of a better term, ammonia burn, and then you've got the ick. They're just not going to make it. It's kind of like if you're sick and somebody comes along and beats you up, that's not going to help your recovery from the sickness, right? Well, that was kind of what I had done through the ammonia spike. So fortunately, the fish are feeling better. This has been 2 weeks now that we've had the temp at 86 degrees. And the first week was we watched the ick disappear. The second week, we are now looking at every life form in this tank is healthy and thriving and eating like crazy. Once in a great while, I'll see a little bit of flashing, but that's it. So, some things that we're doing now. First of all, 2 of the fry have now migrated to this tank. So we have the fry in here now. They're doing well, and they're growing. Once we got them over here, they started growing like crazy. It was awesome. So we'll have some videos about them and coming up. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, so that way you'll know next time we post a video, and you can kind of follow the fry growing up with us. One of the things that we want to do eventually is do some breeding and teach you guys how to do that as well. So this is a pretty exciting thing for us to have that have happened. You know, don't like all the things that came from it, but you know, hey, it is what it is. The hobby, you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. I'm fairly new at this. That's why we're the aspiring aquarists, and we want to do whatever we can to learn and then turn around and educate you guys, so that you can learn from our mistakes rather than having to make them yourself. So how to get rid of ick? Turn the temp up to 86 degrees. Put in a teaspoon of salt for every gallon. And here's the deal. Listen, check this out. When you do a water change, okay, let's say I took 20% water change out. Then what I'm going to do is, in this case, you know, 26 gallon, 5 gallons is roughly 20%-ish, you know. So we do a 20% water change. We replace that 5 gallons. We put in 5 more teaspoons of salt. However, right here, this is coming down here. You know, that's evaporation. When it evaporates, the salt does not evaporate out of the water. So don't, when you top off your tank, and you will have some evaporation when you're running at 86 degrees. Do not replace the salt when you replace the water. Okay, so if you're topping off, do not add salt. If you're doing a water change, you're pulling the water out, then do add salt. All right, so those are my tips for how to deal with ick, and I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe again, and then also you know, watch some of our other videos on the channel, and share this with a friend if you know somebody else who's in the hobby, and hopefully we can all get through those tough patches together, and we can celebrate the successes. Comment below, leave some photos of your fish if you'd like. My sons would love to see them. You'll see some videos from them in the near future as well. Thanks a lot, guys. See ya.